Hello. I can't. Oh, I hate myself. Okay. I always feel like I'm talking too loud, so I talk quieter and quieter each time. Anyways, what will I be talking about today? I'll be talking about self-deprecation. There it is. Self-deprecation. What does self-deprecation mean? Okay. Self-deprecation means when you take your achievements and you take the positive things about yourself and make them bad and make them seem like they're not as good as they are. And then what this does is this leads to this self-imposed pressure. And what is self-imposed pressure? Self-imposed pressure is internal stress and anxiety which individuals generate by setting unrealistic expectations or standards for themselves. And so I was like, what does this mean? Like, what is a truly unrealistic standard? And I think a good one that can apply to students is like saying if you do bad on a test, on like one test, then you're going to fail the whole course. Well, I know people who say this, and I'm guilty of this too. And like putting these unrealistic standards on myself. And I think everybody does that. But it's not good, of course, or I wouldn't be talking about it. But yeah, so it's like you downplay your achievements. It's like, well, you got a 70 on this test, and then an 80 on the next test, but you need like an 85. Okay, you were going for an 85, and you're like, man, I suck. I'm stupid. And it's like, no, you're not really stupid. Okay, maybe you need to study more, but you're not giving yourself enough credit. But a lot of people do this, and this pressure that we put on ourselves, it leads to physical symptoms. And this happens a lot with like stress and anxiety, and people don't know that it can actually lead to physical symptoms. Like your chest feels tight and you get headaches, and your mood, of course, your mood goes down. I mean, I had really bad stress for a long time, and I would start to feel like my heart ache, literally. And I was like, am I dying? Like, is this like, I thought I was dying. And I was like, no, like I've started to research it more, and it's because I was putting this stress on myself. But yeah, chronic stress response. That's kind of what this is called, is a chronic stress response. It's like your body wants you so badly to get into a better state of mind that it will like physically signal to you. So, you're gonna want to find the reason when your chest starts to hurt, or you'll get headaches or things like that. So that's why it happens. Another symptom is chronic fatigue and exhaustion. And so this is like you've put this pressure on yourself. Like, if I don't pass this next test, I'm a loser and I suck. And like these are like the kind of things that you tell yourself. And then you'll notice it's like you think it's completely unrelated, but you'll notice that if you like sleep enough and you make sure you get enough hours and you're still tired, and it's like anything you do, you're still tired. You drink coffee, you drink energy drinks, but you're still tired. Well, this is your body's way of telling you that you need to like relax a little bit. Like, it's because our brain is so smart, and it lets us know when we need help in these funny ways. And so chronic fatigue and exhaustion, it's like you wake up and you're still tired, and you go through the day and you're still tired, and you fall asleep, and then you wake up the next day and you're still tired, and you're like, well, I guess it's because I'm not getting very good sleep. And then you make sure that you get enough sleep and you're still tired. And so it's because of this. It's because of this pressure we put on ourselves, and this stress, this self-imposed stress. You need to like step back. And what works for me is to rationalize it, to like, if I have an important test coming up, and then I'm like, okay, what do I absolutely need to make to pass this test, or to get a good grade? And for some people, that's like a D or a C or a B or an A. And I have pretty high standards for myself, so it's a bit harder. But I'm like, what is the lowest grade that I need to get and still be fine? I write that down, and I'm like, what do I need to do to make sure that I get this grade? Like, what do I need to study? What do I need to do? And then to beat the stress that we put on ourselves, we need to make sure that we feel prepared. Because when you walk in there, and I did this, I had a psychology test coming up, and and I'm the kind of guy to like study the night before, which is exactly what I said not to do in my video. I know that they assume that they need to do, like, they need to memorize the damn textbook in one night. Well, that's just stupid. But yeah, I walked in there, I sat down, and the thing that I did differently was that I studied for like 15 minutes for a week before the test. Just 15 minutes. That's like a bus. That's not, I mean, my bus ride is an hour and a half. So, I mean, I've got plenty of time, but that's like 15 minutes is nothing in a day. It's nothing. And so I would sit there and study and like, you know, there's this thing called Quizlet. And so I would do that, and I would do the quizzes. And I wouldn't worry if I got the quiz wrong, if I got things wrong, because I knew that, okay, that's what I need to work on. And so I worked on it, and just for a week, I did it. And I walked in there into the psychology test. And maybe before, I would have studied the night before, and I would have walked in, I would have looked at the questions, and I would have been like, this is exactly what I didn't study. Like, I know that happens to the best of us. This time, like, it was a breeze. It was easy. It was great, because I had studied. And so when you become prepared for something, and when you prepare yourself, you can take away the stress that we put on ourselves. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but that's just kind of life, I guess. But yeah, but the thing is, we do this, we set this pressure on ourselves because we need to be this exact figure that we've made up in our mind of who we are. We're constantly putting standards on ourselves, even though we know it's irrational. We know it's irrational. We know, you know, you can not do so well on a test and you'll still be fine. You'll still pass. We don't do that, of course, because we think irrationally. What you need to do is rationalize it. Really sit down and say, is this as bad as I think it is? Do I really need to get 100? Do I really need to get 95, 90? The answer is almost always no. It's not. It's a hard thing to get over, but it's possible. It is possible. So these expectations of ourselves, we don't need to do that. We need to not put so hard expectations on ourselves. And I think now it's harder to not put expectations on ourselves. I mean, we're getting fed just impossible expectations every day on social media, on how people are supposed to look, and how much money we're supposed to make, and what job we're supposed to have, and where we're supposed to live, and what kind of house we're supposed to live in, what kind of car we're supposed to live in, what clothes we have, and what, you know, just every single thing in our life has become a contest, basically. Who can have the best? Who can have the biggest house and the fastest car and the most expensive watch? And I think that's a problem with our generation. We're always putting these expectations on ourselves, and we fail to see the achievements that we've actually made. That's what this video is about. My solution is to really think about it. To think about, I'm gonna have I need to have this certain job. I need to become a brain surgeon. And you're like, okay, sit down, brain surgeon, pros and cons, research it a little bit, and see if that's something that you actually want to do. Like, I think we make these, statements that we're going to be something when we actually have no idea if we're going to be happy or not. And being happy is, the point in life. My point is being happy. So when you, again, rationalize these thoughts and these expectations, it becomes a lot clearer that you don't actually need to do that. And I think I'll put in some, or I'm not editing this video, so that'll be a first. But somebody else is. So I'm gonna put in some poems, and I think they're really good to realize our self-worth. And that's a big thing. That's another theme of this topic, self-deprecation, is that you don't realize your self-worth. And these poems are good at realizing your self-worth. I hope this helped. I don't know. I feel like it did. Yeah. Thank you. Ooh.
Wild geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things.